And we are live.
Well,
There
how
we
come I
are.
don't have any chat? Say somebody chats and put into something in chat.
If you click on the comments section to the right, it's on private chat, and you click on comments. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing pops up. So
You there, Rusty?
He's
Or you missed a freeze?
yeah, I'm
he's
here.
missed your
He just meant playing with
just
us.
his picture freezes, but we can hear him. Yeah, it's froze a few times before you came on like that.
Okay.
He's just giving us that stare, that look.
Last time he actually did.
The
That's
level
what
of
that's-
concentration. Well,
Yeah, that one time you were like, "I am here."
I am here. Yeah, because even when it looks like
I
he's
am
not
moving
there,
so
it says-
slow. I'm moving imperceptibly.
Yeah.
Well, howdy, everybody.
Welcome to the Musty Wargamers Season 5, Episode 7, I believe.
7. There.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know.
Yep.
Cool.
I don't know. Well, I haven't seen anybody but us that's in here.
So far.
Oh, I forgot to turn my sound off my phone.
Well, shall we do the normal round table
game
of what's going on with folks? Dan, do you want to, as our illustrious guest this evening, talk about hobby gaming, whatever that you've been up to?
Yeah, I actually have something to talk about this time. I was telling Rusty I haven't played an actual tabletop game since first week of June of last year. And I got a game of Bolt Action in on Sunday with Mark, the friend that lives close to me. And then I got a game in with Rusty today.
Nice.
So it's feast or famine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting March starts to be kind of my busy time, so it's kind of like, okay, if we're gonna do it, now's the time. So that was a lot of fun. So they both were games at my place here, so I got to use some of the new terrain I've been working on, and had a great time. It's always fun, and then I think the Bolt Action's got me kind of really. That's kind of my project focus now. I'm back to working on some terrain for Bolt Action, and then been trying to step up a little bit of my terrain, improve some of my trees, and I've done just some little I call them pretties, just little Rusty knows, like little clotheslines for the backyards, and just little decorative flower
you mean like the
beds.
dollhousing?
Yeah, dollhousing. Yeah. Yes, that's what it is. But it sounds better to say pretties. But yeah,
I had to remove some of that laundry.
Yeah, Rusty was knocking. He thought it was in his way, but yeah. So that's what I've been doing, and just really kind of feel re-energized and charged. I have a lot of fun with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's been mine. Yeah. Yep.
How about doing much painting stuff, or
just terrain? Well,
a terrain piece.
A terrain piece. Well, I am also painting. I've had it for years. A Warlord resin Stuart American tank.
Nice.
And so I got that put together, primed, and I put a wash over it, and then that's my recipe I follow. And then so I'll start painting that up. I want to get that'll paint up real quick, and then like I was showing, I don't know how good my picture will be, but I put it up on the Musty Warhammer. I'm getting the church painted. This is the one from Total Battle Miniatures. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so I'm working on that, getting that painted up. And
so the Musty Warhammer, is that like somebody that stole our name, but kind of in the Citadel side?
Oh, did I say Musty Warhammer? Got that still in my brain. Okay, Musty Wargamers. That one too.
Those Musty Warhammers, they're just too specific.
I know. Yes, 2GW, right?
Yeah.
And then and so I'm making a base for it that it all can be removed, but if I want to use it kind of on the scenic base to make it more integrated into the table, I can. So a lot of things are magnetized. You can pull off the tombstones and pull off the trees and and pull the church off in a statue and things. And so those are basically the two painting things. And then I have started, yeah, I don't know, probably doesn't show up at all, but Warlord Games, this way, Russian, or not Warlord Games, Black Tree Design Russians. And I've just started priming and basing a few that I'm going to do a test miniature, because that's going to be my next army I'm going to work on. Mark, my buddy over here, I've been talking about doing a Stalingrad table forever. So we're gonna do a table. He's gonna do Germans, and I'm gonna do the Russians. So that'll give me 3 different armies I can play with, choose from. So
Nice.
So yeah, so kind of,
Well,
you know,
if
that excitement you
need,
get on the early stages of a project, you know, where you're all jazzed up, and then usually I do see it through, but I know it's going to take me probably more than a year, but I don't mind that, you know. So that's me getting it done.
That's a lot. Like heading into a new project is good.
Yeah,
we know that you can take it seriously. So
I can, and I will focus until it'll be the only thing I work on until it's done, probably. And I've been planning it out. You know, what direction do I want to go with the train? Am I going to scratch build, or am I going to buy resin pieces? Are we going to do it a winter table, or is it Stalingrad before the snow? And so, you know, once I get my plan, then I'm all in. I like to have the full vision before I start. So
we'll have, Dan, all of your reasons as to why you chose what you chose, and these walls to not veer from it that you'll build up.
I do. I'm terrible. I do.
Just kidding.
I know. No, you're not wrong. You have nailed me to a T.
I am the wargaming psychologist.
Yes, you are. You got into my brain, because I do. I dream humongous, but I know how to focus in on one thing, and then I do it to the best of my ability. I don't get distracted by projects, and I don't, you know, like, well, I'm just getting them painted quick to get them on the table. I can't do that. Isn't my, you know, MO. I just can't.
I've chosen mid-war winter, and this is the reason why that I'm not doing those other ones. And
and it's funny because I'm not a button counter. Like my guys are going to have some of the uniforms that aren't the right period, but it has to fit the vision that I have. You know, it's like what I'm picturing as what I want to see. That's so.
I think whatever makes us passionate about doing something and not getting distracted is a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. And some people like the distraction and like to jump for a project because that keeps them fresh, and that's what they enjoy.
Yeah.
For me, I like to find a path and then stick on it. That's put the blinders on and go.
Looks like Chris from Walkabout Games has joined in.
Oh yeah.
Hey Chris, thanks for joining in. I know he does a lot of World War II stuff too. Speaking of which, I know anybody that kind of dabbles into historical usually stumbles across World War II, you know, to some degree, because it's a great period, I think.
Yeah, it's real gameable. That's for sure. And there's a lot of stuff out there, you know, miniature wise, and lots of choices.
So did you happen to go out earlier in the evening and have a drink with the wife this time, or?
Yeah, that's our thing. It's happy hour.
You did it already.
7 p.m. or so, whenever she gets home, and so I did the Jameson, or no, tonight was rum and Coke. So
Captain you guys, you're already jazzed for the show.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Rusty, do you want to go next?
Very power supplied.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Chris said he does 15 and 20 mil World War II.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like been playing a lot of BattleTech. Had a couple games since the last time we had our show, and been working on some project stuff which I shared on the channel. I did these little buildings.
Pill bottles.
These are pill bottles. Just pill bottle. It's like I got a ton of these things laying around just from taking drugs. So
did you make the design?
All
on
I
the
did
paper?
was no.
It's perfect.
I just found stuff online showing, you know, building facades, and I just copied, you know,
cool,
the picture, and then I took it over to Paint Shop Pro and
Mhm.
turned it into actual printed off, and then I just glued it on.
Nice.
Cut it to shape and then glue it on.
Great.
Yeah, that's
So I have a
brilliant.
whole. It was really cheap. I was watching the Daytona 500 last Sunday, and I cranked out 12 of these and nothing flat. It's like
Nice.
race started at 1:30, and by 4, I think I was done with all 12.
That's such a creative idea. I love
It's
stuff
like
like
different.
that.
Yeah, it's like you just repurposing stuff that you have around, and they look really
Mhm.
good because they marry up really easy with
Yeah.
scale
Mhm.
to what you have for games. You know, this is a small pill bottle, and it fits right fine.
Mhm.
And one of the guys that was local, the question is like, to have 3 games or go with the standard maps, and his version of 3D was taking those little paper hills that you can just set on the hexes. That was his version of 3D. And I was like, and I sent him a picture to his post. I said, that's not 3D. This is 3D.
That's clever.
And
Yeah.
it's like, so got that. And it's like, obviously today, I went over to Dan's place. It's about, an hour and 35-minute drive, I think it is.
Yep.
And went over there and played a game. I won't tell the results, but we'll.
I will. I
the video
actually
should go out
won.
probably.
One out of I haven't beat
You
him
won
yet.
by scenario.
Barely won, but I did. WCW.
Badge of honor.
Yeah, I cracked the code.
He sent his place
Got
kicker in
lucky.
and kicked the field goal in the last second.
What
Yep.
what army were you, Dan? What did you guys both play?
I played
I was
Russians,
Americans.
Soviets.
Yeah.
You were
it was-
Americans?
I was Americans and Rusty was Soviets.
Did you get any successful airstrikes?
No, I didn't even try.
Oh,
Because-
really?
Yeah, if you do airstrikes, I used to when I first started playing Bold Action use that because you get 2, but
Yeah.
then after you blow yourself up, and I'm sure you've been there, right?
Yeah.
Where it drifts off target,
Yeah.
blows up your own stuff. So I didn't do it, but it used to be a lot of fun. Rusty had the offboard artillery observer, but
Okay.
I killed him before he could get in position. So yeah.
Yeah, it was like I had all these buildings and all the doors were on the opposite side, so I had to run around to get to where I could get into the building. And he, mowed me down with lots of automatic weapons fire. Roll enough 6, eventually that 1-6 gets through.
Ran in my field of fire. It was just the way it went. But it was close to the end. It was a fun battle.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like got to watch the video to find out how we won.
There you go.
But
How's,
I'll equate it to, it's like leading the entire game, and then suddenly the field goal kicker comes in and kicks his only field goal of the game, and that was it. Yeah, about that.
It looks like Tim's in the house from Broken Dice. Hey Tim,
Oh,
thanks for joining.
Tim. Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
I wish I was retired like Tim. Although it
All
sounds
the
like
painting projects. would be
he's
fun.
plenty busy anyway, it sounds like, but
I'm gonna say it's like the only way you're gonna be able to retire is become a grain farmer. That's your only way you're gonna do that.
that's
How about,
not retirement.
Rusty, how about your musty drink tonight?
My musty drink of the night. Oh yeah, I do have one. Hi. There we go. Glen Moray, 12-year-old Scotch.
There you go. Oh, that was appetizing.
Makes me thirsty.
Hey, that was like, you should have recorded that. They could use that in commercials.
They could.
That was perfect. Yeah.
Nice, good tonal quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That hasn't been open in a while. Yep,
Well,
it's Scotch.
Anything that you're painting? You showed the buildings and stuff. You're working on BattleTech stuff right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Did I show you the? No, I had.
Nice.
These done. They were pretty much done the last show we did, but let me just find out where the camera is.
Is that a new version of the Hunchback?
That's a swayback.
Okay.
This one carries 8 medium lasers instead of an AC-20.
Distant cousin to the Hunchback, the swayback.
It's a direct cousin, Hunchback. It actually does twice as much damage as the other Hunchback. So.
Okay. Well, it has to. I mean, or else why would you need something different than the Hunchback?
Amen. I'll drink to that.
That's right.
Yeah, basically a standard Hunchback that take this massive autocannon off that has, and then they replace that massive autocannon with a bunch of medium lasers and heat sinks.
Well, as far as
pretty nasty.
I've been mainly printing lately, although I did finish those Beastmen, and I owe in video on my channel for that. Since the last show, I kind of didn't have much to do after the last show. I have been researching and acquiring / building miniatures like really straight since the last show, and I almost every day I've been running prints. Like, to be honest, on the weekends I've been running three prints a day, like 3 plates of stuff. And I'm kind of getting to that point now where I'm kind of mostly done printing for the next little bit, mostly, and I'm painting now. Like, I actually got some stuff primed to show, and I'm painting on the show tonight with you guys. And so I'll show that. I did I actually purchased some stuff from GW that I thought that I wanted, that fits with some of the stuff that I want to do. I actually got this. Oh, here we go. I got this Imperialis, Imperial Navy Lightning Fighters, which I've always wanted this plane. This is for the 8mm Aeronautica Imperialis, and so I can use this for this game. Like I can use this for the Apocalypse and 8mm. I actually got these for my Mechanicum that I'm going to do for the next army after the Space Marines. Just because the Mechanicum, I always wanted one of the full-size 28mm ones, but I never wanted to justify the price at Forge World for buying it. But now I can have one. Like, it's just smaller, and so it's cool. So I ended up getting this, despite the fact that I'm printing stuff, still buying stuff. But as well, I should just figure that out there for a second. Hang on, there we go. I will switch my camera to some stuff that I wanted to show you guys how these look with Prime on them, because I didn't know what to expect, and man, I am really happy. Let's see what I can show here. So, like, in particular, these rhinos, there are some that you could see when I would, if I actually print these flat, then they're actually really flat on the top. But if I actually print them like this in order to have supports and to capture other areas of detail, you would see these faint lines on the top, but they were really faint and they didn't have like a texture to them. And now that I've primed them, I don't really see the lines at all.
You kind of disappeared.
They did.
Oh, you're right. I don't see them. Yeah.
Which I honestly, I kind of thought they would, but I wasn't really sure. I wasn't that bothered by them because they were so faint, but I don't see them at all. And I'll just show you guys, like, now that I've actually put some primer on these.
Wow.
They look even like 10 times better.
Holy crap.
Than like when you couldn't, the reflection of the plastic in my light last time on the show.
Yeah, it was hard to see. Yeah.
But if you look at this, like, oh man, I'm in love with this thing, you know.
Well, and then I see your fingers next to them. It reminds me they are that tiny and they're that detailed and crisp.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, because they look like, if you didn't have your hand there,
Yes.
They'd almost like they're the 28 mil ones.
They look almost 28 without
Yeah.
scale reference.
Yeah, they're nice and crisp. I find them to just be beautiful, like to be able to make this stuff.
Oh,
You know?
that's so tempting. Don't quit showing that stuff. Just look away.
Yeah. So tonight I'll just kind of refocus here. This is a manual focus, but tonight I'm just going to. My plan is to paint to do an initial base color of ultramarine by model color. Despite this being GW stuff, I kind of gravitated. I like some of the GW paints quite a bit still, but I've gravitated towards model color as my main paint. Like for my fantasy stuff, I'm using Coat d'Arms, like in the shades of but I overall I really like model color, and so that's kind of what I'm planning. I've been mostly buying, and then like flat blue. I'm gonna airbrush flat blue, and then maybe a bit of a lighter blue a little bit later. But right tonight I'm actually just using a brush to get the base color on. And that's kind of what I'm doing on the show tonight. So yeah, it'll be fun to paint this stuff up tonight and see.
Are you using the airbrush? You're using the airbrush somewhat though at some point for like highlights, or what do you?
Oh yeah. Like I'm gonna get the base color on, and then I'm gonna use the airbrush and go and highlight with the airbrush, and then I'll go in and pick out all like the tracks and the guns and all that stuff with a brush.
Are you confident of that? Have you done that kind of stuff with your airbrush yet?
I have, like I have, yeah. Like I've done infinity models, and actually I'm just going back to main camera. I've done infinity models with the airbrush, and mainly just like this, like basically painting a lot with brush. Like sometimes I would do the base color with the airbrush, but most of the time I would get like something down, and then I would come in and just do some highlights with the airbrush, and then go back to the brush and pick out details. It's a nice little tool, and I think for this it could be really helpful because like tanks can really jump out, like particularly like when you're wanting like something to look a little bit more brighter, cartoony, like futuristic looking, like it can really make them look sweet, whereas if you're wanting something a bit more, I am going to do some weathering and chipping on these too, despite that. But if you're wanting something like World War II, I've used the airbrush on my bolt action stuff too, but I don't like it to be too cartoony. I like to be more realistic looking, and so I find you can do really well just with a brush, like with World War II.
Yeah, stuff. I've been tempted to try to do some German camouflage with an airbrush because that seems like that's where you get the best results.
That makes
that's where I'm really tempted by one, but I don't have one either.
Yeah, that does make sense, and I found the airbrush to be a bit of a quite a steep learning curve from the. A lot of it was actually just keeping it from not clogging and keeping it like running clean. Well and like operating the way I want it to, like was actually a whole learning curve for me.
That's what I was afraid of.
Well, and it can be real payoff. I mean, it's a great tool, but it's just
be aware.
I don't know.
So,
yeah,
like anything, you're gonna have to learn by doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have that's pretty much what I'm doing. I actually bought a Horus Heresy book too, which I spent a bit of money at the hobby store. Like you'd think for somebody that was like avoiding stuff, like because I'm interested in this, like I've been giving GW my money. Like I've just been doing it in different ways. Like I've been basically I bought like I really am looking forward to doing a Mechanicum Force after the Space Marines, and I bought like a Mechanicum Horus Heresy book that goes through like all of the lore and all of the units, and like it's just like an inspiration kind of thing. And so I got that, and these lightning fighters.
Attack Motobuck.
And as far as the Musty drink goes, it's funny. I actually don't think I've talked about this on the show that much, but I drink a lot of. I'm not drinking this for my main drink tonight, but I drink with dinner. I love like the non-alcoholic Heineken Zeros because I really like the taste of beer, and I don't really always want to drink. Like I don't always want to drink like early in the evening. I might know I'm going to have a drink later, like right now on the show, and so I'll actually have Heineken Zero with dinner just because I want to just taste the taste of beer, and I like the taste of them. And so I was just finishing this off as we were talking. This my non-alcoholic beer, and which I love these. I really do.
Ah,
Somebody could slip me one of these. I used to dislike the taste of non-alcoholic beer. If somebody slipped me one of these and told me it was a Heineken, like I would probably believe it. I just really like the taste of it.
wow, that's good. Usually diet or anything that's not the real thing is just you got to make yourself like it.
Yeah, no, I love this actually. Having said that, I am having a drink tonight with you guys, and I am having port tonight.
Oh wow,
I'm,
that
ha-
would be my speed. Yeah.
I'm having it's Taylor Fladgate, Fladgat, Fladgate. It's Reserve Tawny Porto, by the appointment to the HM Queen Elizabeth II, suppliers of port wine out of Portugal.
Oh
So I
my.
am having this, and I've had this before. Let me see if I can do the same as the rest of you. Not quite as good, I don't think, but
There you go.
Pretty good. It's always better on camera on TV.
yeah. So it's a tawny, which I do like as far as ports go, and yeah, nice dark. It's almost like, well, it looks like wine in a lot of ways because
Oh,
it's
it
real
is.
dark,
Yep. Yeah.
you know. Yeah, and so that's
Sludgy
what I'll be
grape
having.
juice.
Only better.
love-
Yeah.
I really like port, to be honest. I like wine with a meal, but if I could choose, if I had to choose, I would take port over wine. Like if I could only have one.
Huh. Yeah, me too. Actually, I'd pick port over wine. Yeah.
Port
I know very little about wine, but my wife's bunch of her family lives in St. Helena, California,
Mhm.
in the Napa Valley. So we've been out there, and you can learn quite a bit from
Mhm.
the locals and touring the wineries, and so yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Got some comments in the house.
Tabor Home Winery out of Eastern Iowa?
Oh yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
that's my wife's cousins.
Really?
So, yeah.
Huh. Okay, that's good. That's a good connection.
Yeah, so I always get it's like when they have the family gatherings, I always get the sample of everything.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But they
fun.
have a tendency to go for the Merlots and all that. They like the dry wines. I'm
Yeah,
more of
that's
a white wine
right.
guy.
Right. What's Chris says he's painting a boat and building VC. Viet Cong or something else? I don't know.
I think you're probably
Victoria
right
Cross?
because I think he's doing.
Because I'm trying
been
to
doing
remember. I've watched some of his stuff recently.
I love port, especially aged in old whiskey bottles. Yeah,
Well, that's a palate that
have
knows.
some. Oh, what the heck? It's bourbon aged stouts.
Okay.
So if you like your stouts, like a Guinness, but aged in like a bourbon,
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
Sounds strong. Stout.
It's got to it.
Stout.
Now, when every once in a while, I'll make a barley wine. That's
Oh, yeah?
between 12 to 15%
Said you'll make one
alcohol. Yeah, I brew.
using your
I brew my
grapes.
own.
Yeah, so you do it from
along with
scratch.
my grapes. Yeah,
Yeah,
from scratch.
I've done the wine kits that you can get. You buy we start with buying the grape juice and then you do the rest and then bottle it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But it's been quite a long time since we last did that. But that used to be fun. It's not quite the same as using your own grapes, but you do what you can. I did something fun last. Oh, go ahead.
I say, depending on how the season goes, it's like I can get about 5 gallons of wine made from my grapes
Oh, that's cool.
in my backyard.
That is cool.
I
kind of
make
grapes do you
a
have?
rosé.
Okay.
I got Catawba, Marcel Foch, and Lacrosse.
Hmm.
The Lacrosse is a more sweeter wine. It's if you ever had the white grape juice, you know, that Concord style
Yeah. Yep.
that you can buy in a store. You know how that tastes. That's kind of how those taste. But the Catawba is a red one grape, and then the Marshall Foch is a red also. So you can get between the two, mix them all together, and then make a nice rosé.
Oh, okay.
So you get the sweetness. One provides the sweetness, and the other one adds the tannins. So.
Geez, Rusty, is there anything you don't do? You're like,
Yeah.
he's got
You
some insight on almost every topic, and I'm like, I don't know.
do you do any tornado
Well,
watching
my
while you're
wife
picking
always tells
grapes?
me,
Yeah. And
yeah,
watching
you know, it's
constellations and yeah,
as they break out the telescope, right?
right, exactly. You never know what Rusty's up to.
As my wife, I have too many hobbies.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that can even be a thing, but
Well, if you don't have any hobbies, having more than one, I guess, is too many.
well, yeah, I guess it just depends how much time you want to spend on them, time and or money. But some of them, you know, even if it's a hobby you only did a couple times a year, that can still be rewarding and relaxing and fulfilling.
It
So,
is, you know. So every once in a while, it's like there was a time I would make probably a batch of ale once a month. I had it was always something was percolating in the basement down here, and my friends would always be it's like, hey, I'll have an ale, and so they'd drink all my stuff, you know.
yeah.
Then it's like my one friend, when he got married, I made the ale for it. I made some barley wine for his wedding reception.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
So I made it so it tastes like a northern pilsner,
Okay,
German style. So if you were into a German style pilsner, it had that aspect to it, but it had I think it was around 13.5% alcohol content.
yeah.
Let me tell you, there's some happy campers.
Yeah, that's perfect for a wedding, right?
That was, yeah. And I named it Hydroshock, was the name of the ale.
Sounds like a mech.
Hydroshock.
Hydroshock. Oh, I got to ask, Rusty, you're painting up all those BattleTech miniatures like for years now, or at least that I've been watching for more than a year. How many do you put on a table at one time typically? I mean, I have
We
no
had,
idea.
oh gosh, the game on Monday, we had 32
Total or on a side?
total.
Or what? Total. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. You know, I was thinking it was maybe only like 10 or 15 max, like per side. I didn't know. Is that normal or not?
Yeah, that's pretty normal. It's like typically, well, some people think that if you have 4 in, that's overload. You know, they can't handle that. But
Oh,
there have been times where I would play control 24 myself, 36. You know, it's not a big deal.
yeah, but you're a rocket scientist and you watch the stars and you make port wine and you. So I'm sure you could do that too, right?
Well, I am a rocket scientist, but yeah.
Yeah.
You're a BattleTech War Master.
He's driven
Yeah.
tanks. I mean, there's nothing like Rusty. We should just one night, that'll be our topic. Just throw stuff at him and see if he's ever done it before. If somebody can come up with something he's never done.
They have those things on Facebook, you know, it's like you get 1 point for everything you do. And it's like if you got this many points, you're considered epic. And I was looking at that and go, well, there's one thing I haven't done. I've never gotten a tattoo. So
Well, that would be easy. I'll do that for you.
as we hear Dan screaming in the background. That'll be easy.
No, this is my
No.
first one. Sorry.
Smart.
Oh,
I'm an
wow.
expert at it. I slept at a Days Inn last night.
Yeah. Well, every expert was.
I remember
once a
those commercials.
beginner. Yeah.
I like that. I mean, I'm picking a fairly. I'm painting over black, but I'm picking a fairly bright base color to begin with. I'm suspecting that I'm going to have to go. I may have to go even brighter. I have to just see.
Are you going team?
You have to see
Team
after it
Smurf?
dries.
Yeah. Sorry,
It
Rusty?
doesn't dry.
What'd you say, Rusty?
You going Team Smurf?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I know
Well,
that.
the
I know
first
that.
coat, you got them. You're putting down the base coat, so then you're going to put a wash over that, right?
Most likely, yeah. However, by doing the airbrushing again, it'll potentially take away the benefit of the wash. So I may end up doing a thin down wash after the airbrush, and then just kind of pick out some of the lines and just do some touch up. Obviously, it wouldn't hurt to do the wash. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything.
What would you do for a wash? Like a black wash, you mean, or a blue, or what?
That's a good question. I was thinking about that, and I could do a black wash. I mean, on blue, I can use a dark gray, or I could use a black. Yeah, I wouldn't use a brown.
No,
unless I was just trying to use it to streak oil and do that kind of stuff.
Selectively, yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you use for washes? Brand.
Well, I haven't done a project like this in a long time. I oftentimes I like to use on figures like I like to use the Army Painter quick shades, like the inks.
Yeah.
Not so much the quick shade itself anymore, but the inks. I like to use a big one I really like, the Vallejo Model Wash brand.
Oh.
And so let's see, this guy here.
Down there you go. Okay.
I really like
you buy it by the bucket.
Yeah, they only come in this size. I
Oh,
like
big.
these, and I really like the gray washes, which I could use on this, because the gray it adds a nice subtle. But because they're so small, using black, as you say, might not be a bad idea just to sort of have them stand out.
Yeah,
So.
like almost doing some black lining too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That way.
Well, it's like these mechs right here I'm working on. I put a base coat of Evil Sun Scarlet on it, and then I put a wash of black on it of gnome oil to really get a stark contrast with the recesses, and I'm just going back over again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a good strategy.
So you're saving all the lines pretty good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I remember the first time I used a wash actually was when I was painting my very first bolt action army back like in 12 or something. And I had painted up, you put all the base coats on it and was real neat with them. And I was like, I remember I was just like, I was scared to do it. I was like,
yeah.
Because I hadn't watched a lot of videos back then. I mean, I'd seen a couple to know that's what you can do. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to ruin this now. And and I remember like, it was like an epiphany. It's like, wow, that just like, that as much work as it took to put the base coat on, that wash in like, 10 seconds made it like that much better instantly.
Oh, for sure.
And then, highlight from there. But I know some people think that's like hobby cheating, washes.
Well, it's a tool in the toolbox. It's not cheating.
Yeah. Well, and it's a hobby. You just please yourself, whatever you like. What do you like? Do it.
Yeah, individuals though, it's like they'll put a wash on their stuff, but never highlight again or bring the any color back into it, so it's like dingy.
Yeah, well, some like that look. I've seen people do that with World War II stuff in particular, and
Muddy
I
it
like
up.
that Turnip 28 stuff. Have you seen guys doing that on channels? Turnip 28.
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, there's a couple guys doing
Never
it
heard
that I
of it.
watch on their channels. It's pretty niche right now, but it's this newish game system, and it's looks to me like it's kind of a mass battle game. You rank up the different units, and then but it's supposed to be like and I don't know, so don't quote me, but it appears like it's kind of they're in the flavor of like World War One, but it can be like they'll do them where some of you scratch build these things out of kit bashes. It's like
Oh,
they'll take War of the Roses, like torsos and Napoleonic arms for the guns, and and then there's a lot of they have somehow the lore they have roots growing out of them. That's how it has the turnip part of it.
okay.
And so they have, you glue on, someone will put on like sort of grass tufts and then put glue on them and stuff. So they look like roots, coming out of them. And and they tend to make them real dirty, dark, dingy, just like trench warfare type stuff. Some of them will do them with gas masks. Some of them will it looks fun because it's totally creative. There's no wrong answer. I've never seen a game played or seen the rules, but I've watched a lot of people who are painting up their armies now, and it's it's intriguing. I mean, I know I will never probably commit to doing it, but it is fun to watch.
Oh, it sounds
Anyway,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine if you have a turnip and it's popped itself out of the ground, it's going to be a dingy, dirty looking thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Musty.
Musty. So we can claim we'll shirt tail along on that ride.
We're the vegetable warriors.
Well,
But a lot of the people do the Warhammer stuff really grim, dark, and dirty looking and stuff. And
that's
true. It can be done that way. High contrast.
Yep.
Really bright, but also really gritty. Like at the same time, like lots of contrast, and it could look really good.
Oh, I agree. There's lots of great styles. I just tend to like the look of the bright colors. Even in my World War II, I highlight up pretty high usually, and I always think too it helps it show up on the table. Maybe it's because my room isn't very well lit or I can't see.
Well, particularly your Bretonians, you definitely bright.
Yeah, and that fits the fifth edition lore real well and their style, which drew me in. So.
Well, the good thing about is, when you have any type of miniature, you can make them look really nice, and then you can turn and make a dusty, grimy look, if you want to.
Yep.
Or take a mech, let's say Battletech here, paint them all nice and neat, but have the lower extremities like from the knee down on the mech. Get it all muddy looking.
That's
they're
true.
going through
Yeah,
the
and
grime.
Yep. And some people like to do that too. World War II, they'll grime up their tanks all full of mud or splatter up the bottoms, of the legs on even like in 100 Years' War, they'll do that. All the infantry in the bottom of their shields is all like mud streaked, and that really does look cool. I'm definitely not knocking that go.
Well,
that's another cool way.
You looked at my tank I had today in my BA 10.
BA 10. Yep.
All grimy looking.
I saw you had the grind. Yeah, especially I'll send you the pictures that I took because I had a pretty good one. The BA 10 there. You could see the mud up on the fender wells and the.
Yeah, I'll add it to the video when I make it.
Okay, yeah, I'll send them for sure tomorrow if I don't think of it tonight after the show.
Okay. Well, let's see. I got 12 striker tanks I need to work on now. I put some base coat on these guys.
Striker tanks.
Just wondering if I should make 3 lances or 1 complete company the same color.
Boy, I can't help you with that one. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
I
different
got
paint
these.
schemes on BattleTech, is it by certain like factions, or what is the decision? Okay.
Well, there's different houses, and within each
Houses.
house, there's different units, and there's also mercenary units.
Okay.
Like right here, these guys right here, these are 2-tone red and black.
Okay.
These are Kell Hounds, or we can use them for, House Karita. Kind of
Okay.
like make them dual purpose where they have different look.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have, I've just put the base coat and highlighted these guys up. And the time we started the show, I did 6 of these.
Okay. So are
And those
certain
are gonna be
houses
house
like
crew.
aligned together? Certain houses? I mean, are they all like their own thing, faction or whatever?
Well, they're 2 houses for a long period of time were kind of aligned with each other. There's House Steiner, House Davian, which kind of worked together for a while. They were married each other,
Okay.
joined together.
Huh.
And then there's House Karita, which is, see, House Steiner is kind of like the German mercantile, the Hans system, you've had from medieval times, kind of based
Yep.
on that. House Davian is kind of like the British Empire.
Okay.
And
Okay.
House Merrick is kind of like the America.
Merrick.
But-
Yeah.
And then you have House Karita is feudal Japan. And
Okay.
House Lao is basically communist.
Okay.
And you have, the evil ones are House Lyle and House Karita. Those are the evil ones.
Of course.
And you always got to have bad people. And then
Yeah.
they're always going to backstab you one way or the other. House Merrick will backstab each other because they're fighting, because there's so many within the house. There's a bunch of different factions within it, and they'll fight each other for dominance. But if you attack them from without, they join together and beat you up, type thing.
Okay. But like brothers.
Smaller houses. So then there's a bunch of sub houses. There's the Taurian Concordiant. There's a Roshalahog Lake. Let's see, what else is there? There's a couple other ones. They're like small fries.
Okay.
Consider, you have your giant, then you have your type ones that kind of cutting their way out. And it all started off, there was this thing called the Star League.
Okay.
And which was under control. The whole inner sphere at the time was together as one, under one house. And then they had a house came in, and, they had a civil war, they tore each other, and then the head of the Star League military decided to take all of his toys and go away.
Okay.
Looks like Bill Wishong's in the house, just saying hello.
Oh, hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
And then they took off, and they were gone for 200 years, and they came back and restructured your whole society and became the evil clans.
Okay.
And they reinvaded the inner sphere and tore it to pieces.
So you're not very well versed in the lore, then.
Yeah, not at all.
Can you think of a game that's had a lifespan of BattleTech? I mean, like Rusty said, he's going to the gaming stores and they're playing games. I mean, that's amazing to me, because if a game can get 8 or 10 years is like usually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There's just
Yeah.
a handful that can even say that.
Hmm.
That's
And they've
amazing.
been around, and it's been around since '85. That's about when I started playing. Then.
In a lot of ways, I would say that like it's
That's-
doing a lot better now than it has at some points. Right, Rusty?
Yeah, it had its heyday in the '90s, and then it kind of died off. Mostly because one of the game companies took it over. They sold the rights to a different company, and they kind of just buggered it up bad.
Okay.
And then Catalyst took over the licensing of it, and it's kind of revived it again.
It reminded me of
put some life back into the beast.
Forrest Gump. You're like, I've got fried BattleTech, I've got sauteed BattleTech, and I've got BattleTech Creole, and I've got BattleTech with rice, and I've got BattleTech.
Bill says he played some Blood and Plunder.
Oh, nice.
Blood on the Frontier today. He's getting the game in. I applaud that anytime.
Yeah.
Blood and Plunder, that's another one that intrigues me. I've had Blood and Plunder stuff in my cart. I don't know how many times. And then they'll have a sale once in a while, and I'm like, okay. And then I just don't. I just can't. I know I don't have time for it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I have enough for if we wanted to get together. If you got the rule book.
I don't. That's the way it gets into my psyche is I'll just pick up the rules. And I know the rule book is gorgeous. So I was like, then I'll just pick up a small starter army just to, kind of see it. And then, yeah. But I could get that rule book. It's only like $30 or something.
Yeah.
I think.
Just get the rule book because I have all the original factions for Blood and Plunder painted up. So.
Of course you do. If there was ever a miniature made, because Rusty has like the miniature like museum he could have. It's amazing. It's worth the trip.
It's a little known fact that the very first Blood and Plunder miniatures ever painted were by me.
Yes,
I have that.
You said that. That's kind of cool. That'll be in your biography someday. It'd be required reading by some art classes or something.
Because it helped that my client friends of mine were the ones that started the game, so that's kind of helped.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
You'll see them every once in a while comment on my Facebook page.
Okay. That's cool. Well, not only would I not be able to paint them well enough for that to happen, but the game would be like out of print by the time I'd get them done. The speed I paint.
Now, if you really wanted to paint some, I could loan you some of mine. You can paint them.
I'd have to put them in the queue way down. So you already heard my next project that I'm starting on, kind of. So,
isn't there a story behind the creators of the Blood and Plunder? Weren't they like a video game place at first, or something else as a business first?
The owner used to own Alienware computers.
Okay, I knew it was something like that.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Good call, Palmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed by that. It was just interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I do remember that. They've put out quite a number of games now that it sounds like they have a good following. More for as flooded as the market is.
Yeah, they find this thing is that you got to find your niche.
Yeah. Then they did Blood and Valor, which of course that filled a niche that is not being filled by anybody that I knew of anyway. And that looks definitely intriguing if I needed a whole nother project.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's the problem with this hobby is that you can go so far deep into the rabbit you can see daylight.
Yeah.
tried to go buy.
Yeah, that's made it tougher to resist with social media because you find out about everything so quickly and easily, and and they know how to present it so it looks amazing, and you can have videos to watch how it plays. 20 years ago, you'd just be like, if you probably wouldn't even hear of the game to start with, and then you may not even be able to buy it locally, and before the internet, you'd never be able to order it. So ignorance is bliss, right? Now it's
Pretty
like, ooh,
much.
that looks cool. But you could sure find some cool things now, which I've taken advantage of that too. So
Well, back in the day when I had my game company and I was busy with it, it would be one of those things where you would get a hold of your distributor, give them a bunch of free samples of stuff, rule books,
okay,
and then you would say, "Here you go, pass this out to your largest game stores that you have as your clientele," and you basically write it off as a,
right,
yeah.
business expense.
Yep. And then they would get them into their stores.
Mm.
And you still see some of that to some extent still, where they'll give out
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and of course you see it when people get stuff to review on the YouTube channels too, of course. But
Yeah,
which is where
it's
I
like,
see.
yeah, they're giving this stuff away, but they're writing it off as the full expense of if you had bought it,
Well,
not
yeah,
the production cost of it. So it's not
right.
like they're losing money.
No, it's advertising either way, but
Yep.
well, it's not like they give a bazillion of them away,
Yeah,
the
like,
most where they can give it away to the most bang for their buck.
yeah.
Just smart.
Yeah, for us, it was it may cost us, let's say, $100 in printing cost to produce the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then turn around and you wrote, you gave away, so many sets. Let's say that you just gave away $500 or $1,000 worth of stuff, and you just write that off as a tax expense. So.
Right.
I made the executive decision to go multiple different colors.
There you go. Somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
I second that motion.
What's the next color? Or is that you got the tan and the red? Like sort of dark brown, the brown and the red. Well, those are different guys behind that. Those are your Koreans, right?
That's my North Koreans. I got a green. These are going to be basic Star League style colors. And I'm going a red and black Kellhound style.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go some House Steiner Leering Guards.
Nice.
Well, we'll get you into this BattleTech thing eventually, Dan.
You think? Well,
yeah.
Well, we can put it on next year's docket. Or actually, I'm coming. I'll be coming to you next time. It'll be summer.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you never would have to buy a single mech. Let's put it that way.
That's my kind of speed. Although, it's interesting because I was thinking about this the other day. I mean, like you do while you're sitting here doing this stuff, but I was thinking, trying to again decide what is it that I find so enjoyable about it. And of course, one of the things I think is the satisfaction of like playing on a table where it doesn't have to be from scratch or whatever, but you made the whole table and terrain. I purchased and painted all the miniatures. You know, I bought maybe like the dice or the tokens and the other stuff for the or built it or painted it or whatever. That, I think, to me, that's even part of just the satisfaction of it, is the end result. It's like painting a picture, but like having somebody else like paint part of it, and then you filled in this one corner. It's still cool and rewarding, and it might be a gorgeous thing at the end. But I think that's even some of the satisfaction I get just from the gaming process.
Yeah.
Well,
You actually get to see your hard labor put to use.
Yeah, or just
There's few times that I've really played with other folks' miniatures like on a regular basis and said like I really like this game and continued to play, but then didn't buy into it eventually. Yep. And the one time that was kind of like that is I really enjoyed playing DBA, and I was playing with other folks' armies. But then I still, even when that one, like ended up painting up my own army for that, because if I find if I really like it, and if it's because it's miniature gaming, if I really like it, then I'm going to want to paint for it if I'm invested in the genre and in it. You know, like that's part of the build up and the passion. Having said that, I do think it's a great way to get a chance to try it out. You
Absolutely.
know, like playing with other folks' armies. But ultimately, I don't think I could ever do it long term and still be engaged.
Yes, I 100%. That's kind of what I was not so eloquently saying. But like you said too, though, I would play, like, say, Rusty, and maybe not so much. He doesn't ever get to play BattleTech, but if he had a bunch of miniatures for a game that he doesn't get to play often but is excited about it, and I'm interested, I'd be happy to go play, or a friend or whatever. I'd play that game happily, even if I was knowing I would never, quote buy into it, but yeah, but to me that'd be like, in a way, like playing, one of your favorite board games or something. It's not quite that same experience, but it can still be a lot of fun. And I know I have two armies for different things that, for the purpose of being able to, get somebody to play with me at some point.
Yeah, I think we stumbled across a topic that we've not talked about.
That's hard to believe.
And I think it is what is your favorite game that you've never painted or invested in but enjoyed playing? Like, and even maybe played on more than one occasion, but never hobbied. Just what we're talking about, like this.
Does that have to be a game you've played, or just a game you've never bought into, but you would, and maybe never will for various reasons, but you would? Or just intrigued?
Not theoretical, but like literally, like you played with your friend's stuff or at a convention, and then you played again because you liked it, and you really like it, but you kind of like either let your friend, like, just sort of use his stuff and just continued to play, or you just continued to play it, at conventions, even though, you're using their stuff. Sort of like not just a one test try, but like said, like, I've played this, I like it, I'm going to play it again, but you don't have the stuff and you didn't buy it.
Well, there was
your favorite game that you never
guilty pleasure.
What's that, Rusty?
There's what the heck's the name of the system? It's kind of like based on Terminator, but it's not Terminator. I always, every time I would see it advertised at the convention, I would always play it. God, what the heck is it? But it was basically, it was kind of like, every time I played, they always have it set up like Space Hulk. Where they made it massive, where you had tons of doors and hallways that you'd go down, but you play like it was space, like Space Marines. You're on the level of
Space Crusade, or was it GW product?
No, not at all. It's a Canadian company made it. They just rebooted it last year.
Oh,
really?
or 2 years ago, one of the two, something like that. It was popular kind of in the 90s. And this one group, they would always be at the convention at Gen Con, and they would set this table up. And the table would be roughly 12 feet long, by 5 by 12 long, and it would be covered in tiles. And you'd have all these doors and everything. It would enter in as you'd go in, and you'd kick in a door, and you'd go through, and you're facing down these Terminator-like robots. And it's kind of like Starship Troopers meets Terminator, kind of like the feel of it.
I think I might have seen it, actually. Now that you mentioned that it's being rebooted again. But I didn't realize, I thought it was a new thing. If it's what I'm thinking, I thought it was new. I didn't realize it was like something that was coming back. But
yeah.
But that would be sort of something that you played on more than one occasion and you didn't buy into, but you really liked.
Yes. Well, the company went out of business. So when I started playing it, you couldn't get any of the games anymore. But they always had it. And it's like, I knew it was an existing game at one time. Everyone, they basically, every time they would see anything pop up about it on eBay, they would buy all the miniatures that they could get their hands on. And they had enough miniatures from the games. They probably had 20 box sets of the miniatures, at least. It was a lot of fun. The last time I played it, we were at Gen Con and the power went out. So the game got ended quick, halfway through. But
when was that? When? You mean back in the 90s when it was a thing, you mean?
Yeah, the game itself was in the 90s, from the 90s.
Okay.
It came out in like 92, 93, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Well, Dan, do you have anything that matches that description of not the description of the game Rusty just described, but something that you played on more than one occasion, like your friend had, you never bought into it, but you really liked it, like you would rank it as a game that you would definitely like, but for whatever reason you didn't hobby it, you just stayed with playing with other people's stuff?
You know what? I can't say that there is. And part of it is compared to, well, Rusty for sure, and even you, my gaming experience is so small as far as the history. I mean, I've known about games for a long time, but didn't own or play any of them. I painted miniatures and built models and did modeling and diorama type stuff, but I never played games. Every game that I've actually played on the tabletop were with my own miniatures. So I don't fall into that category. I'm gray, but I'm not experienced.
I'm gray, but not experienced.
Yeah, I'm not 16, but
I'm worn out, but I didn't learn anything from it. No,
yeah. Well,
no, I know what you're saying.
Because I'll watch. A lot of times I'll have somebody's stream going, like this kind of a show that we're having while I'm painting. Because I just listening in, just listening and maybe type something occasionally. But and I'm always envious because they'll talk about going to the game shop back. They remember playing, 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy, or they remember when, the certain mechs came out, or they remember getting together with their friends and playing on the floor all these different GW games and things. And I honest to God don't have a single story of that.
Well, we're not that much different in that way, and because the whole 90s when I was like in college and stuff, I did not do any gaming.
Okay.
And I didn't really. I played games when I was younger, like in the 80s, up through to like 90, and then I got back into it in 2012, and so I have vast amounts of stuff that I play. A lot of stuff that's retro that like I never played to begin with, but I'm actually buying old stuff and going back now.
That's where you and me are the same in that aspect. Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, I in some ways, I wish I would have had the enjoyment of the hobby and more in my life than I did. Like in the sense that I think it's great.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not like distraught over it, but I just
No, me
but
neither.
but it's like, yeah, it would have been cool to actually have done more of it. So I'm not saying that I'm like happy that I
Right.
was not in the hobby, but at the same time, it's just a fact.
And right. And think about how much that would have changed. Would that change our experience with the hobby now?
Well, we
Because
would have been like
we're
rusty and like just kidding.
Rusty
Well, back
literally
in
or
my
just
day,
Rusty, the name Rusty. We'd be
Yeah.
gray and rusty.
Yeah. That's right. We'd be gray and like rusty.
But you know what I mean, though. It's like if I was actually drawing from that nostalgia or my nostalgia of wanting to play, because I knew, I knew about the white dwarfs back then, and when I was starting to learn about this stuff in the late '90s, is when I got to a couple hobby shops and GW's type stores and wanted to do it, but couldn't for a variety of reasons. But to me, it's almost nostalgia for me going back to that point, where some people are nostalgia going back to when they played the game, and it's maybe not that much different. Although I'm experiencing it for the first time now.
Yeah.
5th edition Warhammer and the old Lord of the Rings game from the 2000 or 2001, and
Yeah.
so it still has, it's interesting. It's similar but different, right?
Yeah. Well, and so before I answer like one that I do have that's a solid answer to this, I think for me, like that I definitely didn't buy into, but I definitely liked and definitely would play more of. Yeah, like I actually for a while there developed a philosophy. I guess I still have it where I oftentimes, if I don't have a reason not to that's specific about an earlier edition, I oftentimes, if I can, will kind of take an archaeological approach to a game that's been out for a while when I first started. And what I mean by that is I like to see how it first came out to understand what made it popular.
Yep.
And then I like to see how it transitioned in the rules a little bit. Like and not just pick up the latest one because that's what everybody's playing, if that makes
Yes.
sense. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or not to do. I mean, I just find it interesting to see the evolution of how the authors evolve the rule set and stuff. And so for me, that's kind of like my Warhammer fantasy approach in a lot of ways. But if I had to pick one that I really enjoyed and thought this was an amazing game and never picked it up myself, and part of the reason is the person I demoed it with moved away. And so I didn't continue playing with them. But then another friend that picked it up was picking up both sides and all the terrain and was going to do it. But then, just never got around to it. Just other things came up. So they never actually pursued it. But it was Test of Honor. I really enjoyed Test of Honor when I played it.
Okay.
I thought it was a really cool game mechanic. Like the way it was a really good skirmish game that had really great mechanics in how you could use the characters and how you had combat. It wasn't just a cut and paste of like stuff before it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, like if you've got both sides of that, like I will definitely play that. And I didn't pursue it myself, but yeah, it was excellent.
For what reasons did you not pursue it then? Just to kind of dig deeper.
Well, I always had other distractions, and it was always like at the time, this other guy that is like my main gaming partner, he had it, and at the same time, like he's one of the main people that I game with. So if he's decided not to do it, even though he has all of it,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I suppose you could argue that if I went out and painted some stuff, it might like influence them to paint that, to do it.
Yeah.
But if they've chosen not to and they already had all of it, then, I just, just other things came up, and how easy it is to just stick with your core stuff. And part of that was actually, I guess what I should have said is it's the core game philosophy too. I already had my core games that I was kind of sticking with. That philosophy only goes so far, because right now I'm painting a new project that's not part of my core games. And last year I did Marvel, which is not part of my core games, but now kind of is.
But what you're doing now is it's in Yeah, you're right that it's not in your core game list, but it's in the same file folder. I mean,
It
you know what I
is.
mean? You
I
know?
started my YouTube channel with Warhammer 40K,
Yep.
and I've read like a ton of the Horus Heresy books, and so
Yeah.
this does actually fit in quite a bit with
Yep.
even like above my desk here. I don't know if Rusty I think has seen these, but I should be able to show this without going out of focus. But like I don't know, I've showed these pictures on my channel, but I have these like framed pictures
Oh, cool.
of like the Horus Heresy.
I don't think I've seen them.
These are like limited edition prints.
Oh, nice.
That's one that I like. It's kind of I like it because of the color and everything. But this one over here is my favorite, and it's based on a book that I read too.
Cool.
This one here is like my absolute favorite, and I'm such a fan of it. Like this brings me back like in my channel, and you know
Yep.
I like the historical. I like other stuff that I do quite a bit, but I've missed some of this. I mean, I was going to ask Rusty if he's still doing 9th edition 40K, but like I don't really have an interest in the modern rules, you know, for 40K for the most part. And so this is a way for me to get like a major fix.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Right. Well, you've always loved the lore, like you said. So I mean, that's it's not like you started, and I'm not trying to help you like rationalize what you're doing, but it's not like you started down another path, you know, like
like completely different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's definitely a familiarity to this. The game, the Apocalypse game, is different. I mean, it's not this new rules. It's not the same as 40K by any means.
Right,
it's kind of a nice
right.
twist. In some ways, it's kind of a nice thing. Like I'm looking at it and I'm learning, and I'm liking it. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. It's a different way
to
play it. I think we've got a bunch of comments down there that
Bill commented on a game he's played but never bought into.
When you're talking about the I do have started painting up in 9th edition Necrons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing I have been working. Yes.
Yeah, Beer, yeah. Necrons.
Because I remember, you know, it's like when Nick had less than 200 subscribers, like and I was like subscribed to him, and we'd chat. You know, I was kind of like ask questions. At the same time you got involved, I started following you, Palmer. Was
my Bealton.
Same time
because we both had the Bealton, and Nick had the Eldar at the time too. He's kind of gravitated away from doing the Eldar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely have that stuff in common. That's kind of how we started.
The Eldar. It's like the Eldar aspect of my game with 40K kind of disappeared after the Mechanicum showed up.
Yeah. Well, the Mechanicum are so cool too. I really like that stuff, but I always like the Eldar as well.
I do have some Mechanicum stuff I need to work on. I've got a whole bunch of stuff, actually. Got a whole box of it. I got in a trade. Services rendered.
Books taking place at the Mechanicum, and I like reading. I like reading all that Mechanicum stuff from the Horus Heresy. I love the grittiness and the sort of. They're kind of anti-heroes in a lot of ways. You know, like they're kind of evil. Even the good guys are kind of evil in the Mechanicum. Yeah. You know, like they don't relate to humanity really that much. You know, like in the same way, and it's just really cool. Love all
that not stuff. At all. It's like the humanity. They got rid of their humanity.
Well, they consider it the less you're physically human, the more you're adapted, the closer you are to enlightenment, kind of, and like that's why like the Majoses and all of them are like barely human. I mean, some of them, you know, I mean, that's my understanding of it. However, it's complete heresy to go to AI, right? For them, like to be complete
Yes.
robot is heresy. Like,
Well, the blessed machine god, that's actually just an AI. It's like,
mhm.
so they worship a machine god, but
Just looking back here at some of the comments. Actually, I'm going back kind of far, but Chris says Sweet Prince, and Tim says they look great. Tim says I love some port, especially aged in old whiskey barrels. Chris calls Rusty Lance Commander Supreme Rusty. Chris says turnip 28 millimeter is cool looking. The style is called Grim Dark.
Yeah.
My Vietnam stuff says high contrast gritty. Bill shouts out to the Draconis Combine, probably as part of our BattleTech discussion, and then says, Steiner, are they bad guys? Steiner, are they bad guys? Said he talked about how he played Blood and Plunder, and that there's a good YouTube instruction that Firelock Games has made.
Yeah, there is. He's right.
And Tim says, yes, a table is like art and really enhances the game. And then Bill says, my game, in referring to our discussion about one that like you didn't buy into, but that you enjoyed playing, is that my game I enjoyed playing but never bought into was Limeys and Slimeys. That's an interesting name. Never heard of that.
Me neither.
That's kind of cool.
I think it's like one of those, like an Osprey style game. It's really small.
Okay.
The name is familiar to me.
Do you wonder if it's still on the market, or is it an old game? Or is it, new or old, still on the market? Not. Huh. If he's still there, he can tell us.
Bill Pop in your nest.
Limeys and Slimeys.
It's a kind of interesting name.
Before.
Yeah, now I'm intrigued. Okay, we should, as a group project, we're gonna do it.
That's it. Limeys and Slimeys.
New project.
We'll game it over the channel, like over the live stream.
Yeah, we could. Well, I've watched, over the COVID thing, I've watched some people really do some nice remote live stream games. It can be handled actually, pretty well. I enjoyed watching them, type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know. I'm sure it gets easier with technology, but I'm not really sure what the challenges are.
Oh, there'd be many. And of course, you'd need multiple cameras, and you'd need good internet, and besides the obvious good lighting, and then it's nice that the other person, of course, knows the rules well and can also show their dice rolls, but anything can work.
Mm-hmm.
Minifigs game, he says.
Okay.
Huh.
So minifigs, so that means it's like 15 mil or something, or?
Isn't that what they mostly do?
I thought so, but I'm not positive.
But me neither.
Yeah.
You can set us straight here. It was a 50 millimeter scale pirate game in the 1990s. Oh, pirates. 15 millimeter pirate game. You're kidding. Oh, yeah.
The ship's a little bit easier to manage the purchasing and dealing with.
Yeah, there's some amazingly cool ships out there.
It's back in the 90s. I designed a pirate game, so maybe that's where I remember it from.
You should probably go back to your... What's it called? ARG?
Mine?
Yeah.
ARG.
Okay,
there'll be pirating to be done.
Lemons and sloops.
Shiver me timbers.
My wife and I are getting done with YouTube or a Netflix series we're watching, and we're thinking of starting the Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, we like to have something where you can just each night you know what you're watching. You sit down and watch X amount of minutes, and then you pause for the next night and go to bed. And yeah, that's on the short list.
You ever watch Black Sails?
I own Black Sails,
but never watched it.
That's along the same lines as Deadwood. You gotta have a strong stomach, and you don't want the kids in the room.
So Black Sails is a rough one as far as like gory and stuff, or
gory and the topics they touch on, and certain it's just certain types of violence. And I mean it's like I would rank it in there with Deadwood. I don't know if you've seen that, Palmer. Probably not either.
No.
Have you, Rusty?
Oh yeah, excellent show.
Yeah, and I own that too. And I remember the first episode I watched of Deadwood, I was like, because my brother had it, and he's like, "Oh, you got to watch this." So he loaned it to me, and I watched the first episode. I almost couldn't make it through. I'm like, I cannot watch this. I literally cannot watch this. This is like hard to watch. But I'm like, okay, but I'll watch another one. And you know what? Before long, I was like power watching through season 1. It has all the things in it that are really raw, really hard to see and watch, and in a way, but it's done. I mean, the script writing is incredible. The violence isn't for the sake of violence. The gore isn't for the sake of the gore. It's needed almost to tell the story, if you know what I mean. But it's sort of like
realism.
It's not sugarcoating war and that kind of violence. And I don't know. I mean, at the end, it was funny because I am like the like most nonviolent person probably you could meet, but so it isn't like that. It's just it was like it just had to be that way to do it right, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say is that the Black Sails show is what was the inspiration behind Blood and Plunder.
Was it?
Oh,
well, I know they have a lot of history or a lot of interest in the history of that period, and then that might have been enough to. Yeah.
Did you guys Did you guys ever see Horatio Hornblower?
No, but I had somebody else mention it to me. I
own that, and it's television, older television show, so it
okay.
It has it's not modern, and it's the way it deals with it, like the way it's produced and things. But I kind of at the time, and when I say at the time, like I probably watched it, I'm guessing in the late 2000s, but I really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed it. Did you see it, Rusty?
Yeah.
Of course.
I was going to say, why did you ask that, Palmer?
So what did you think of it, Rusty?
It was all right. It dealt with the period fairly well.
Well, and it's sort of
a Hollywood show style, but
yeah.
That was the whole purpose of it. It's just a swashbuckling style show.
Yeah, it was like definitely a hero that kind of gets into all these challenges and then gets out of them and stuff or whatever. But I kind of liked it as a period piece.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
That's it. That's the bottom line. Yeah.
There's nothing else. Because a lot of shows I watch, I just go for the entertainment. I don't care. It's like I don't want to think too hard sometimes. I just want to enjoy a grand spectacle sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like watching that show Spartacus.
Oh, sure. Why? I can watch a movie that's based in historical context and not be historically accurate and know that and really enjoy the movie or the show. Some people are just completely turned off by the way it's done, and that's okay. And from a historic standpoint, I get that. But like Rusty said, I mean, it's what I'm doing for fun, and I enjoy watching it. So I don't know.
Bill says that he liked Deadwood, but
Yeah.
he prefers Hell on Wheels.
Oh, I
that's
started
Hell on
that.
Wheels is excellent.
Hell on Wheels was shot here in Alberta, and
Really?
it was actually shot here in
Yes.
Alberta, and even so, like actually, a pharmacy I used to work in, the main character, actually came in, the actor, because he
Really?
he hurt himself. Yeah, went to the hospital, came to the pharmacy when he was shooting the show. But I don't remember the name of the guy's name. But in any case,
Yeah, I couldn't help you
Mont
either.
or something like that.
yeah. In any case, my wife and I watched that show. We really liked it. Actually, we used to really look forward to
Did
watching
you
it.
get all the way through it then?
We did. Yeah, watched it all the way through the end.
So I started watching, and then I'm like, I think my wife would like this, so I saved it, and then we've never. There's always some new other thing that we're watching, so
Yep.
we're watching.
Yeah.
What is it? What Bazaar of, or what of Destiny? That anyway, I can't think of it now. The title, but Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I watched Hell on Wheels. We're looking forward to another episode of that.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it looks good. I watched the first episode and I'm like, okay, she'll like this, I think.
Yeah, she wasn't too much into Deadwood, but she just like,
Okay.
you can watch that yourself. But I enjoyed Deadwood. But I like westerns myself.
Bill says that Hornblower was fun. I didn't enjoy it as much because at the time I read the Aubrey Matron book series by Patrick O'Brien. I didn't read any of it, so I don't know. Kind of like what we're talking about. I just saw it just for the show only, and so nothing really spoiled it for me. But there's a lot of situations like that for me too. That where I watch movies where it was like based on an anime or something, and people that were fans of the anime hated the movie, and I kind of liked it for what it was.
Right.
Tim says the Hell on Wheels was great. That Hell on Wheels was great. Yeah, I thought it was excellent.
Okay, I could get that on my short list again. Slide it up on the queue.
Yeah.
Now, Dan.
Yes.
You ever heard Thomas Durant was the head that was creating the head of the railroad.
Okay.
Durant, Iowa is named after him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because that railroad it went through Iowa.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Well, and General Dodge built a house in Council Bluffs, and he was instrumental in the railroad going across the western U.S. there. And in a couple months, we're going to go, as a family, tour his house or mansion or whatever. It's a historic site now, but
yeah.
Cool. Durant, Iowa. Okay.
Yeah, Thomas Durant, which is one of the characters in the movie, in the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So you got a little bit of history there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, I like shows, even sometimes, like I said, even if it's based in history, I'm good with that. I mean, I'm not doing research. I'm, watching a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a place for both, I guess, is what I think. But
oh yeah. Well, that's like,
what is everybody watching? I was going to ask them, what is everybody's watching now?
We're finishing up Bonfire of Destiny. That's what it is called, and it's based on a historical event in Paris. Yeah, where they were doing a fundraising event that the wealthy people in Paris went to, and the building caught on fire by accident. And anyway, and it just follows. They try to blame it on anarchists and kill this innocent guy, and there's the whole power struggle, political struggles going on, and it's just I mean, obviously, it's based on a historic event because there were a whole bunch of people were killed. They had one revolving door to get in and out of this building, and of course, in a fire situation, that didn't work. And so that's just how then I assume most of the after story that we're watching is, mostly like speculation or just story made up. But yeah, that's what we're watching.
That's
What are
on
you watching,
Netflix.
Wes?
It's on Netflix, yes, sir.
Well-
One season right now is all there is.
Right now, my wife and I are powering the Marvel stuff.
Mhm.
We just finished Defenders. Now we're on to Punisher.
Oh, okay.
Where do you watch that on?
Which Netflix.
On Netflix? Okay. I'm
Which
interested
we're kind
to
of
see
powering through it. We won't.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that it's leaving Netflix because Disney is
Yeah, I wondered
revoking
that.
the license for it.
Yep. I see. Is it Amazon Prime's going to carry the new Lord of the Rings series?
I heard about
Yes, that comes out.
I just saw my
September
first
or
ad.
October. It comes out.
Something like that. I saw the first ad during the Super Bowl, I believe it was, and I was like, "Oh man, yeah." I mean, 'cause it's supposed to cover some certain amount of time span before the Lord of the Rings, before the
Yeah.
Bilbo and that.
But is it going to be free? It's going to be free on Amazon Prime, like if you have a Prime membership.
That's what I'm
Yes.
understanding. I haven't researched that. I didn't even know what platform it was going to be on until I saw that ad, and I was like, "Oh man," because I don't think we're going to do that. But
Yeah, we have Amazon right now. We watched the first season of Wheel of Time recently. That came out back in, I think it was December or November. Came out in November. It's like it
Okay.
was like 8 episodes and it was done. And we're like, oh, it's done already? Wow, okay.
Mm.
The new Lord of the Rings series takes place before the fall of Numenor, the one island.
Numenor? Okay.
Yeah, Numenor. That's it. And before that falls.
Okay.
It's like you heard of Gondolin, the Elven city. It talks about the swords in the Hobbit, where the swords came from.
Yeah.
That,
The Forging of the Great.
that city will be part of it.
Okay.
Well, that'll be awesome. I have Prime just for I got it because of the deliveries. I mean, I had gotten Prime just to be able to get the Prime delivery, and I didn't realize until after having it for a while that I got access to all the Amazon Prime stuff as part of it, which is great.
Yeah. We're actually sponging off of a friend's.
I have a friend that has let me use Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're sharing something with them, and they're sharing something with us, and we're all happy.
Yeah.
So I guess technically I might be able to watch it that way. I'm not sure. I just used it like you said.
My son has Amazon. My daughter has HBO. We have Netflix and Hulu.
Okay, it's a group effort.
So between the four of us, the family unit, we all have something we can watch. Kind of share the wealth a little bit, so not everybody spend a lot of money.
Yeah, we're doing the same. Which I'm always amazed that works.
Yeah.
Well, that bill?
Somebody's spending money.
Yeah, I guess.
The Expanse. There we go. Up on my wall, I have this massive Expanse poster.
Oh, that's like yeah. Ooh. I was going to ask you if you had one.
I love The Expanse. That's a hell of a show. Too bad the last season sucked. So it was like an afterthought. It's like, they're done with it, even though there's like 3-4 more books to go.
Oh, okay. Bill
They
says
said,
he
"Oh, we're
loved the
done.
book
No
of
more."
Boba Fett show.
Yeah,
And then he said
we
his
watched
favorite
that.
Amazon show was The Expanse. Got a fan. I've never seen that or sadly heard of it. Sorry.
It was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and then the last 3 seasons, I think it was, it's been over on Amazon.
Rusty,
Okay.
did you end
The
up
2
seeing Tales
previous,
from the Loop? Tales of the Loop.
yes,
What did I really liked that one on Amazon.
I watched it. I liked it. My wife hated it, so she
Mhm.
just told me to finish watching it myself.
Which one was that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
It's either Tales from or Tales of the Loop. I think it's Tales from the Loop.
Huh.
It's produced by Amazon, and it's science fiction.
Okay.
I really liked it, though. I found it kind of deep in some ways. Would
Okay.
you think that's fair, Rusty?
Yeah,
That it's
you
kind of
have
deep.
if you're not paying attention to it, you get lost.
Okay.
And some of the themes are meant to be a little deep, I think, or a little bit. I don't know. I thought it was good, though. I really liked it.
Because yeah, the episodes is like you're dealing with it from different time aspects of it.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting it
Okay.
from different viewpoints, from different players. If you ever watched the movie Dunkirk,
Yeah.
you're getting the movie from different time periods along the whole thing.
Yeah, you gotta kind of keep up. Yeah.
Looks like we have Emma
Right.
Wheeling has joined us and says the last season of Expanse was nice, but cut short by 5 to 6 episodes. Love the Expanse as well.
Wow. We haven't got a thumbs down on it yet.
You have your different type of characters. I love it. It's like Amos. He's the one character where he is like one of the guys is gonna kill somebody. He says, "Don't do it, Da. You're not that guy." And the guy's like, "Oh, thanks, man." I was like, things like, "I'm that guy." It blows him away.
That just seems wrong.
Well, he's like a sociopath. He has no conscience. So he just
okay.
but
So that's
he's
the
got a
profile.
code. But he has a code that he lives by. And he's like, "Oh, my captain wants me to do this. I'll do it." Okay.
Okay.
So it's like you have your different characters throughout that feel different human things. It's like what's his name? The main captain. He's kind of like Don Quixote. He's always tilting at windmills. He's always fighting a cause, lost cause.
Okay.
Because it's the right thing to do. It's the human thing to do.
Interesting.
Let's see. There was another show that was on the Sci-Fi Channel I liked. That was Magicians. I don't know if anybody watched that.
I have not.
Nope. Sorry.
And as soon as I'm done watching Netflix, Amazon show or Marvel shows, as soon as they leave, I'm going to be going to picking up start the last season of Ozark.
I've heard people reference that one a lot.
Yeah, it's he's an accountant that's from Chicago, and he's laundering money for the cartel. So he goes to the Lake of the Ozarks to open businesses to help funnel money for the cartel.
Sounds like a nice guy.
And it is, well, it's either do it or die. So he's kind of like, he's highly motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife, it's like she gets involved in it because it's like, if I don't help him, we all die. Because they basically said that. So she's highly motivated to make sure the businesses work.
Nothing motivates like self-preservation.
Yes, it does. I like my head where it's at. I don't need some cartel guy taking it,
If he does, just make it quick. I don't want it to be like in the movies.
Yeah. Oh, it's a roller coaster ride of
Emotion.
well, the human condition from the crime world.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Let's see what other shows we've watched that are really good. Yeah, was it Bill that said he watched the Boba Fett?
Yeah.
I think
in Book of Boba Fett.
In May they're supposed to get the Obi-Wan series, I think, supposed to come.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Now that's actually got the guy from the first season. What's his name? What's the name of the guy that played Obi-Wan in the prequels?
Ian McGregor.
Yeah, he's playing it, right?
Yep.
That's my understanding. Yeah, they're bringing him back for that, which is kind of cool.
He's in fine aged wine, right? I got the high ground, Anakin. I wasn't too impressed with Book of Boba Fett, but then again, if you watch the the show, looking at it from the aspect that he's nothing more than a crime style guy, it makes sense. My wife and I love the Mandalorian.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we've enjoyed that. We've watched it up to where it's at.
And the best part of the Book of Boba Fett is the Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah. Along with Grogu. So you get more Grogu. You got, I think, 2 episodes out of it. They're dedicated to the Mandalorian and Grogu. So.
Okay. I know this isn't a new movie. What's that?
I say you got to suffer through a lot of the Boba Fett stuff to get to the Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's worth the wait, though, huh?
Yeah. What you were going to say about a movie?
Oh, I was going to say, I know this isn't a new movie or anything, but anytime I get in my World War II mode, I mean, I gotta break out Band of Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was really good.
I want to watch, which will give me motivation to probably paint my my British Airborne, is Bridge Too Far.
Yeah, I watched that not long ago, and I'm trying to remember. Can't remember how I watched it. I don't know. It might even been like on Netflix, or not Netflix, on YouTube. There's quite a few movies you can watch if you don't mind watching with commercials. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like,
I
yeah,
originally
that's
watched.
the kind of
I
thing.
watched it on YouTube.
Okay, because
I
I put
think
it in
it's
like when I'm
on.
painting, and I don't care about commercials.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon right now.
Okay. Could be, yeah. You got to watch because, yeah, stuff comes and goes.
What other season? We watched on. Oh, Jack. Have you watched Reacher?
Reacher?
Jack Reacher. It's on HBO Max.
No. We probably even, I don't know
Oh
if we
man.
get that even.
If you have HBO, you get HBO Max.
Well, we don't. Yeah, we don't. We're actually using YouTube TV via my daughter
Okay.
and Netflix, and we don't watch a lot, so it's mostly Netflix, if I'm honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't hardly get
Well,
watched what we want to see on there.
Yeah, that's a lot. I watch a lot of Netflix
if
too,
you
and I don't see everything.
Yeah, I don't want to spend my life
did
doing
you
it, but
watch?
we like it.
Did you watch
What's
any
that?
of the what do you call it? Tom Cruise Reacher movies?
I did not.
Well, the series is based on the same books that the Reacher is on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
It's really, really good.
Well, I know you. Yeah. Well, that probably is then, because Rusty's he draws from a good
Good
well. That's the word. Thank you. Yeah.
Kelly's Heroes. There's a good movie. No one ever said any locking horns with any tigers.
Yeah.
All these negative vibes, Moriarty.
That's an oldie.
Yeah, I really like that. I remember watching that as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the first time I seen it was in a drive-in with my parents.
Really?
Took the family to go. Yep.
Drive in.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I went to a drive-in.
I think I saw
It's a long time ago.
Empire Strikes Back in a drive-in in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were on vacation. Went with my cousins.
Those were exciting. Like when you were really, I remember being young and just being out in
Yes.
the fresh air, like, and just
Yep.
big movie screen, like in the car, which was a novelty. Like,
Well,
wow.
right. And we didn't even go to movies often as a kid, like almost never.
Mhm.
So that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Besides, there's some areas they're trying to bring them back now, even because of the experience,
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife, her backyard had a drive-in theater, so you could see it from the park. There's a parking lot that overlooked the drive-in theater, so you could sit there
Cool.
and just park there and watch. If
You weren't
had the
parking
windows
though,
down,
right? Per se. Well, that dates us. I don't even know if they use that word anymore.
that was the only reason you ever went to the drive-in, was to park.
What? That was my problem. We didn't have a drive-in theater in our town then. That explains it. Oh, shoot.
I remember we went and watched the movie Grease in the drive-in. I don't remember much of the movie.
Grease. Gosh.
The good old days, right? Things that you talk about that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, that's
definitely the
true.
nostalgia.
I don't know if I go as far as say the good old days though. There was good things
Well,
about it. I'm not gonna say that.
just like the medieval era, they were good old days, full of cholera and
Yeah,
Black Death,
dysentery and
starvation.
just a random infection could kill you. Life
Million Ways to
expectancy.
Die in the West.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's another funny movie, The Million Ways to Die in the West.
I've just seen little excerpts from that.
That's a classic. I just laugh myself silly when I watch that movie. First time I watched it, I'm like walking, I was like, how did the sheep get on the roof? The main character is a sheep farmer.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen it, just little excerpts. I'm saving all those experiences for when I get older. I don't want to see Rusty. You've already done it all. What do you got left that you haven't done? Can you name 3 things
On
on the bucket list? Don't say skydiving. Everybody says that.
I've done stuff.
Okay, that's fine. I knew that. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, I want to go to Norway. That
counts.
I've never done.
All right.
Yeah, I'd love to go to
I'm
Norway.
going to go to Ireland.
Well, I've been to Ireland. That's one thing I can say, and that was freaking awesome. I highly recommend it. If I had to move somewhere today and it couldn't be in the United States, that's where I'd go.
And so
That's what I
why
always
is that?
hear. Is like,
It's got everything. It's gorgeous for one. I mean, and for me personally, again, somebody else be like, yeah, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
The history is amazing. Almost any period of history that you're interested in is there.
Mm-hmm.
It has such a cool feel. Like we spent 10 days in Dublin to where we we really felt like we lived there almost. And it just the people are awesome. It had a really, and we were there long enough to see some flaws. I mean, we weren't still in the honeymoon phase quite, but the climate was attractive to me. It just everything, and and I know when you're on a trip, everything looks awesome, right? But I guess the only other place overseas I've been is London, and I loved that too, but I loved Dublin more, like by a bunch.
Nice.
So friendly. The people are just and they're so open-minded in general and accepting, I guess is the word I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you don't have that here. I'm not saying that, but it really struck me. Yeah.
Yeah, another place I wouldn't mind going is like Australia too.
Oh yeah.
New Zealand.
It's like we got Nick has joined and is in the house over the very silent mouse.
Afternoon.
Yeah. But I don't know about you two gentlemen, but I have
it's already 11, isn't it?
Run out of paint. And I've got folks coming home late from work that I have to definitely probably shuffle off. If you guys want to continue, you are more than well. Don't feel bad.
I should probably shut down too. It's past this old guy's bedtime.
I got all my the first coat on all of my I got the first coat on all my tanks done. It still looks kind of, I can still see the primer through a lot of them, and I've started the second coat on 3 of them.
Okay.
But they look totally different. Like even when you just get that color on all of them, like they all of a sudden now look totally different. And yeah, actually the ones that I've got the second coat on are starting to really look nice. But yeah, no, it's been really productive. That was like some of them all different sizes, but that was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 tanks. And so that was, and that wasn't the bottom because they don't have bases on them, so I'm kind of moving them around. People were watching the video, they could see me moving around with my brush and stuff and getting paint on my fingers a little bit because I'm painting tanks without something that I can hold on to.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is I'll paint just the very bottom. I'll paint and get through the first coat tomorrow. But yeah, no, it's actually
cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the final product because then you can really show what the prints can do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Nice looking, Musty.
And all you're doing is making those of us that don't have a Elegoo
Mars 2 Pro.
want one.
Well, with the amount of money that you guys spend on miniatures, you don't have to do that much to actually move budget around for one of those.
Yeah, it's definitely not the budget. It's for me, it's more the, I mean, it's very affordable, I would say, you know, not for everybody. I understand, but it's more the, do I want to go down that rabbit hole with the time I have available?
Yep, I understand that.
But it's tempting.
You have to think of what you're going to do with it too.
Right.
The number of 28 mil vehicles that you could print off for bolt action, it pay for itself really quick.
I know, but the thing you have to remember is in I've painted maybe like 8 vehicles total in my 2 armies I have in how many years I've been playing bolt action. You know, some people they're cranking a lot more stuff out. It would take, if I look at it from a financial standpoint, I don't know if it would pay or not. It's more my time is my tightest commodity right now. Do I want to do the learning curve and the time that to do that when I wouldn't have to buy another miniature the rest of my life and I'd have plenty to paint as I sit here now.
Exactly. I know what that's like.
But you got in my head, Palmer. Well, we better let you go.
It's an itch that we can't scratch yet.
Yeah, more of this stuff on the way for sure.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys. Sorry to bolt suddenly, but
no, it's good.
Yeah, I think thanks for everybody that came out tonight. And see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, 2 weeks maybe.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Yep. Good night.
We'll see you in 2 weeks over in Palmer's channel.
Palmer. It's gonna be on deck. All right.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Night.